This podcast is sponsored by dentalmarketing.com, and they have agreed to give the listeners of this podcast a free competitive marketing analysis. This analysis is going to show you very clearly how your practice is doing compared to your competitors. It's going to give you the health of your SEO. It's going to give you a website grade, and you'll also see what your competitors are up to. This helps you know what ad strategy you should have today. How clean and effective is your marketing right now? Find out by getting this free and detailed analysis. Text the word marketing to 48659 and you will receive this competitive analysis from our sponsor, dentalmarketing.com. So how do you get 40 consults a month or more for cosmetic dentistry virtually on top of all the other patients coming in? How can you actually have a practice that just only does the dentistry you love, the cosmetic dentistry in this example, a practice that's branded so well that 100,000 followers are talking about it, celebrities are going there, and this practice, by the way, is in a very modest area, not high income, is not Hollywood, it's not New York, it's not Miami. And we're going to be talking about that with the owner, the founder of this practice, Dr. Anthony Price. I met him early on in my training events. He was one of our attendees, and he has gone on to build a practice that in so many ways is inspirational for others. But more importantly, he's found a way to have passion in dentistry and to have time and money freedom for his life. And we're going to talk about that practice in this episode of The Dental CEO with myself, Scott Leune, your host. Thank you again for joining us. And I'm actually been really looking forward to talking to you again because you have the kind of practice that is so much different from the typical practice. And you're doing things that, at least from the outside looking in, look really cool. So again, I really appreciate you joining us. Now, before we dive into that, could you just give us a little bit of background? Where are you located? Where's your practice? What's your practice like? You know, how long you've been in dentistry? Any kind of background information you could let our listeners know?
Okay, absolutely. Hey, Scott, thanks for having me, man. Our practice is called Professional Smile Aesthetics. We just did a little rebrand. I was formerly known as Smiles by Dr. Price. My practice is located basically in Memphis, Tennessee, out in the suburbs. It's an area called Germantown, Tennessee. So we'll basically say Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, that's what everybody knows. That's where I'm from. I was born and raised there. I did my dental school education in Nashville, actually, and my undergrad education at Fitz University. I went to dental school at Meharry Medical College, which happens to be right across the street. I've been a dentist for, going on 16 years now, actually. So that's pretty cool. I love doing dentistry, man. I started out doing a lot of general dentistry. And, you know, after like 8 years or so, I kind of discovered more about cosmetic dentistry. And then I saw how cool that was. And I kind of just like dialed in my practice to be pretty much cosmetic based as much as possible. That's what I've been doing the last few years and having a great time doing it, Scott.
Yeah. So, okay. I look at your practice. I'm just going to like label you for a bit, just be very like general, but I see your practice as a practice that gets local celebrities and regular people to do cosmetic work. And you're becoming like this branded expert in your area for that, even using kind of terms like the smile master, or you've come up with like AirPod white to describe, you know, white. And I see you're at basketball, you know, NBA games on Courtside, and, you know, like rubbing shoulders and elbows with all these cool people. And I think I even saw some like maybe like a graffiti artist do some kind of mural or something in your office. So I just kind of giving everyone a little taste and feel of your brand. It's like really cool with high-end cosmetic dentistry attached to it. Could we kind of talk about that a little bit? Like, how did this brand happen? Was this something that you kind of wrote down and studied and say, okay, we're going to do these 18 things and we are going to build this brand? Or did this brand kind of happen to turn into what it is? Can you describe that a little bit for us?
It kind of turned into what it is now. It all starts with the actual cosmetic work that I do. I started out doing a lot of composite veneers. And it's funny how that started. One of my buddies from college actually hit me up and he was like, man, I'm about to slide to Colombia and get my teeth done. And, here I am just doing regular dentistry, bread, butter stuff every day. But I was like, man, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you sliding all the way to Colombia? And so I looked into it. He showed me a couple guys down there that were doing like these makeovers with composite, making them super bright and pretty looking and stuff. And I saw a lot of people just going down there. So I'm like, why would you go overseas to get something like this when there's so many great dentists here in America? So it hit me, the light bulb went off and I was like, wow, this is like a need. With cosmetic dentistry, nobody just needs it, but it's something that people want,
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of jumped into it and I made myself decent at it. I worked at it. I started researching and, talking with other dentists and finding materials that would work for me. And there we have it. I started doing some cases and I just threw them on Instagram. This was back in like 2017. This is before everybody was on Instagram doing this. And it just took off like pretty quickly, actually. So I said that to say that, I had the vision in my head. And now I'm trying to, what I did was just build the practice around that particular procedure, which is composite veneers. So yeah, like you said, it's really cool, man. You get to meet a lot of people. You mentioned the Grizzly games. I'm a huge Grizzly fan, so I like to go to the games. And yeah, it brings in those clients, celebrities, whether you're a celebrity or not, but it's always someone that's trying to do something pretty cool with their life, whether they're starting a podcast or they're getting into movies. Artists, all kind of people from all kinds of walks of life come to get the smile done. And it's afforded me the opportunity to be around and rub circles with certain people. Excuse me. And it's been pretty cool. And so I, tailored my practice around that procedure. We want to give a high end vibe. We don't want to be stuffy. We want it to be like relaxing, come as you are. And I do have a lot of artwork in my office. Like you mentioned the graffiti. That was done by this brother named Jermaine Bullet. And he's a big time guy here in Memphis. He does a lot of murals around town. And I told him, come in my office, man. I love your work. He does a lot of colorful stuff. And I want you to just go crazy, no restrict. I didn't even tell him what to do. So he just came in over like a weekend and just went crazy. And you come in my office and you can see he's actually got stuff on the ceiling, looks at with the art on the wall. And it's a very cool thing. And I was like, man, this is perfect for the office. And what I'm trying to do is kind of cutting edge. And I know my patients will love this. So that turned out pretty cool.
All right, so I'm going to kind of take what you just said and break it into little digestible decisions and bite-sized pieces. And you tell me if I got something wrong, but what I heard is that you were led to learn how to do a new procedure. And you spent a lot of time becoming proficient at that new procedure. And you started doing that procedure, and the procedure is something that makes people happy. It's a positive procedure. They don't necessarily need it, but they want it, and sometimes those are the harder procedures to actually find. And you were doing a good job in an environment, in a practice that is kind of a nice high-end feel of a practice, but it's also not stuffy. You took a local known artist and did a new kind of look and feel in your practice. And in addition to that, you started posting cases on Instagram. Those cases were seen and followed by other people that want those cases done on themselves, which you then post. And they're seen and followed by other people who want those cases done on themselves. And so you start building this kind of flywheel or the snowballing effect of patients coming in at a higher and higher and higher rate. At the same time you're doing that, you're going to NBA games and you're courtside and you are meeting people who are known in the community, and you're getting some of those people in. And when you post those people, other people see them because they follow them, or maybe it gives them trust that if someone like that would feel comfortable in your office and with your hands doing the dentistry, then other people should trust you as well. Did I say all that correctly?
And you summed it up great. You said it better than I could. Absolutely. I really like how you said it becomes a snowball effect, because that's exactly what happens. When I would go to dental conferences and stuff, and I'm talking to guys, and I'm trying to show them my work as far as being a dentist. I just got mentioned at the AACD conference, which was in San Diego this past weekend, and it was amazing. So we're there with all the top cosmetic guys and stuff. I'm like, hey, check this case out I did. Check this case out. And the first thing that they notice is like, wow, man, how did you get so many followers? And these are the guys that are like renowned cosmetic dentists and stuff. And I had so many followers, and that's all they want to know about. They're like, if you get the work you're doing, how did you get those followers? Because that's what we need to help me as a dentist. And I'm telling you, it's really organic, man. I'm not buying followers at all. It really happens. It's like word of mouth on steroids because of the visual aspect of someone seeing the smile. And then, that particular patient may take a selfie story, and put it on their page and then tag me. And that's how someone else sees it. Like you said, it just builds up and builds up and builds up. And it's just very organic, I love it.
Yeah. So I interview a lot of people, and those people have a lot of followers, but so many of them, those followers are not good. They're not real. Sometimes, like I've got a guy I'm interviewing in dentistry. He's got 100,000 followers on Instagram, like you do, except they're all other dental people. What makes your followers unique is like, oh no, those are patients and friends of patients and followers of patients who could become patients. And that is really cool. I just interviewed someone earlier, and he's one of the top 50 keynote speakers in the world, Seth Mattison. And one thing he said was, I'm finding it right now, I want to get his exact words here. He said that, here we go. Okay. Customers need to leave with a story to tell. What he meant by that is your environment's unique enough, your product is good enough, you've connected with the person on a personal level enough that when those customers leave, they have a story to tell. I think of you because I think that your practice, the look and feel of your practice, is helping someone tell a story. The kind of dentistry you do and the vibe you put with it. That's something, it's so hard to like, in a very rational, logical way, like quantify vibe, right? But you've
Right.
put your personality into your decisions about your practice. So you don't just buy a painting, you get a graffiti artist to just go crazy on a wall.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is your personality affecting every decision. That your vibe is so strong. That's why everyone needs to follow you and learn about your practice and what you're doing, because now people have a story to tell. Now let's rewind. Before this practice existed, was this a startup practice?
Yes, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Okay.
Even though it was kind of like a spinoff.
All right. So it was brand new practice for you. Talk about the decision to do that.
Well, I was associated. My dad is actually a dentist. I don't know if you knew that, but he is. And that helped me out a lot. So I was in his practice for many years, like basically working out of like an office. And I started doing the cosmetic stuff out of his office. And once it got really popular, and this is a very blue collar area. I'm in a very humble place, basically. So here I am doing all this Hollywood type stuff there. And it became increasingly popular, and everybody wanted something like, I need to go ahead and find a space that kind of fits what I'm trying to do. So you have to be able to adjust and change. And all my stuff was like very fluid. I didn't really have a plan for real at first. I just kind of jumped into it and let it take me to where I wanted to go, because I feel like it's definitely a purpose. It's like, when you're chosen to do something, you have to kind of trust what's going on and let it happen. And that's really what I did. So yeah, it happened like that, man. I just kind of let it happen naturally. I kind of just fell into what's going on with I had the vision in my head and everything, and I kind of did things to just make it happen. Honestly, yeah.
So people that can't watch this video but you're listening, I just want you to know that Anthony's wearing a sweater hoodie that says "Smile more, stress less." Smile more, stress less. It makes me think about what it must be like to build a practice that has your passion in it. Well, that doesn't mean it's all, always perfect and fun. There's definitely some stress involved in running any kind of business, but man, when you have to work hard at something that represents your passion, that feels a lot less stressful than when you got to work hard for someone else's thing, someone else's vision that just does not align or connect with you. That's real stress. And so I would imagine that you're proud of what you've been able to build. You're probably proud of the dentistry you do and of the people you help, the people that aren't just your patients, but maybe the people that work for you. Am I correct in saying that?
You're absolutely correct. And it's not just about me. I mean, what we're doing, it's like the octopus stretching his tentacles out. It's touching a lot of different scenarios. People that work with you, patients, you're helping them out. I've seen live change from what we do with these smiles, man. Honestly, I'll tell you a quick little story. I don't know if this is off topic, but there was a guy that came in. He had gold teeth everywhere, mouthful of gold teeth. That was really popular back in the day we were growing up, especially in Memphis. And he's working the restaurant, and he's been in this particular restaurant for like 15 years. And he told me, he said, Dr. Fraser, I know everything from the front to the back of this restaurant how to run. But they won't give me a higher position because I know it's because of these gold teeth I had. So as soon as we took them out and put in some nice curly white teeth, they're probably white as you can see, he called me, he said, hey man, they actually promoted me to manager. So stuff like that, that's what makes me feel good about what we're doing. It's not all about, fame or something or the money. Anything. We're actually changing lives.
If we could dive a bit into the other kind of patient, the celebrity patient. So how have you gotten to know, how do some of these types of celebrities end up learning of you and choosing you and showing up and getting their smiles done by you? How has that happened in the past?
It has really happened organically. They will find me, and I think that they appreciate seeing other high profile type of people coming, and they know that we will respect their privacy. They know that when they come to my office, that it's gonna be kind of exclusive. They don't have to worry about a lot of people being in there trying to, take pictures with them and get the autograph and stuff like that. This really happens organically and word of mouth. It just spreads around. The reputation attracts attention a lot of times. You know what I mean? We want to offer that VIP experience.
So where have you met some of these celebrities? Have you met them outside of the dental practice first?
Let's see. No, typically the dental practice is the first time I'm meeting them, man. And it just, they found.
So you're
me.
not like courtside at an NBA game, and the dude next to you is a celebrity, and you look at him and say, "Man, your teeth don't look good. I need to see you. I need to show up." Like that doesn't happen.
That has never happened, man. I mean, no, honestly, that has not happened like that. Not in that type of scenario. They typically find me on social media. Somebody tells them about what we got going on here in Memphis.
So I've got a buddy that he's done very well in business, and he owns now a luxury car. He's a luxury car dealer and a modification shop and a storage facility for luxury cars. And I actually give all my seminars in his facility now. And what I've noticed is every week he's got celebrities, local celebrities, whether they're people the general public would know, or maybe they're celebrities inside of their own kind of business world. He's got local celebrities coming in every single week. And that's actually generating all these other opportunities for him in other business ventures. There's got to be something about being in the vicinity of important people to launch you into treating or seeing or meeting or doing business with important people. Whether it's because there's a photo of you at a game, or you've treated one and you decided to make that a story that you feature on social media, I would imagine that has a snowball effect as well. After a while, you've seen one, you saw two, you saw 5, you saw 10, and now you're the guy. You're the guy. Does it feel that way to you, the way I just described it?
Yeah, it does. It kind of does, man. But honestly, man, whether you're a celebrity or not, I like to make everybody feel like they're the most important person in the room. The celebrity stuff is just like extra, sugar on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm asking is because what I think you've done really well at is you've become the expert in your area.
Okay.
And becoming an expert, it's kind of validated when you've got great before and after photos, and you've got celebrities coming to you as well, and you've maybe written articles or you've been featured, you've got a big following on social media, you've become the expert. Once you become the expert, you get to just like, you got this big wave to surf for the rest of your career of just easy kind of cases coming in because they're seeking the expert. Have you been intentional? Well, I think you've been intentional about that lately, at least. You mentioned you've rebranded your site. I saw it. You've now said we've got the VIP experience. I'm the smile expert. I read on the bottom of your site, do epic shit. It's even on the bottom of your site. So how did that process happen? How did you come up with the Smile Master or the VIP experience or like these terms like AirPod White? Can you kind of talk about that? What do those things mean? What does it mean to you?
Well, you know, Scott, man, that's all about branding, man. You got to brand yourself. You got to come up with something that's going to stick. You can't just, you know, there's a lot of dentists, and I used to be like that. It's like, I'm doing all this back-breaking work and nobody's saying it. You know, now I'm like, I'm going to focus on being the best that I can be. I'm going to go to these conferences. I'm going to be with other dentists that are doing it better than me. I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to put my own little flair and edge on it. And I'm going to showcase it. I'm going to put it on Instagram. I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to learn how to take some good photography, video, and know how to put music with it and stuff so everybody can see it. What's the point of doing something, you know, cool if nobody's going to see it? You know, it gets to the point now where it's like a hobby to me now. It's not like business. I love it. It's a passion. So that's what goes into the brand that I've been building over the years. To smile more, stress less, you know, do epic shit. That's kind of, that puts you on the edge. And I think my patients appreciate that. They like that realness, man, because Memphis is a very real type of place. And the authenticity is what people appreciate, I believe. And I like keep it as real as possible, man. I mean, people come to my office and I want them to feel comfortable.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you know, you're in a humble area. There's hardworking people there, not necessarily a bunch of wealthy people. But I just want to remind our listeners, you know, sometimes people decide they gotta buy some new kitchen cabinets. Sometimes they want to trade in their car a little early. Sometimes they want to get a hot tub. Sometimes instead they're going to decide to redo their smile. And so it's not wealthy people. It's anyone. It's just how they decide to prioritize their money. And, you know, I saw that you promote having virtual consultations.
Yes,
so
sir.
You've got this kind of following on social media you've built up. Talk to me about the virtual consultation. What is that? How's that work?
Yeah, you know, that's pretty cool because, you know, doing what we do, it's reaching out to people that are outside of Memphis, of course, you know, whether you're on the West Coast, the East Coast, anywhere, even overseas. So it's a way for us to open up our doors and kind of take down some of those barriers. You know how it is if you want a patient to come into your office. Okay, let's set up an in-office consultation. And you got to get on a plane and fly all the way out here. And for me to see you in person, and if you have situations going on in your mouth that can be handled before you can come to me, because I'm like the cosmetic guy. I'm not trying to do a whole bunch of dental procedures that you could get done somewhere else, like root canals, stuff like that. Maybe you need a couple of implants and things. I'm focusing on making the teeth look good. So if you need the house rebuilt, a lot of times we can get that done somewhere else where you're from. And that kind of prevents a lot of time wasting. So if you need braces first, we can figure that out via Zoom on a virtual consultation. I don't need you to fly all the way across the country to come to my office and we see you for the first time just to tell you, oh man, you need to go get some braces first. Go do that and come back. You wasted the whole trip. You know, so I kind of make it convenient. If you really want to have somebody mad at you to do, let them come to your office and tell them you need braces first.
Yeah. Now, do you have local people also doing the virtual consultation?
I do. Actually, I do. And when I do them and I see that they're actually from this way, I'm like, wow, why don't you just come in? You could have came into the office. Why would you do a virtual? And a lot of times the reason is, well, with my job, I would have to take off, you know, and I don't want to miss work and stuff. And I like, that's pretty cool for you to do that. You know, I understand that, but eventually you do need to come on in. And that typically happens. So this is, you know, the virtual consultation is basically like a casual conversation, just opening the door just to see if we can even help you at all. That's all it's beautiful.
And how often are you doing those?
I typically set my schedule up to do them. I think it's 3 days a week right now. So I may do, 10 or so a week. I used to do a whole lot, but I kind of scaled it down a little bit because, doing what I do, it actually encompasses your whole life sometimes. And
Yeah.
I've got two little kids now. So I have two little beautiful daughters. They're 5 and 7. So they're starting to do more stuff that I need to be present for. So I'm lately I've been very intentional about, setting boundaries with this. And like at this time I'm done, I'm going to do my little girl swim lessons, ballet, and I want to be there for them. I want to be able to pick them up from school and stuff like that. So I don't let it just take over my life like I used to. When I first started, it was all 24/7 nonstop to the wall, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me kind of repeat something you said here. Well, you said a lot. That was really good. So first
Yeah.
of all, you said you do about you do about 10 consultations a week. That's 40 virtual
Okay.
consultations a month for cosmetic procedures. And that's less than you used to do when you were able to give even more time to it. That
I
is a
know.
very remarkable thing you just said. I think that
Oh.
a whole lot of dentists listening to this would love to have half
Mm.
as many consultations as what you're doing at a scaled back level. Another thing you said is, you're building boundaries now, that you're prioritizing your life. So your career is fun. It has purpose. It brings wealth, but the life's a priority. So the career is
Absolutely.
going to have some walls around it so it doesn't eat away into the life. And that's something you can say when you own your own company. It's easier to say it when you've put in the hard work earlier. Now you're building wealth and you're successful. You have the power of choice. Compare that to an associate who's $450,000 in debt, got a starter home and building a family, and they're making 150 to 200 grand a year, working 35 hours a week on low PPO fee dentistry, and they're just not in that position. And so I'm pointing this out because freedom for dentists so often involves, as step one, owning your own practice. So often, that's the first
Hmm.
big step toward freedom. And that's what I think of when I hear you describe that. And by the way, I'm impressed, I guess is the wrong word. I'm so happy to see that you've got the wisdom to make the life the priority, because
Right.
sometimes people in your position, they get high on the success and they
Mm.
just keep doing more and more and more and more. And they, at some point, their health gets away from them, their relationships get away from them, their fun, their purpose gets away from them, and all they ever do is this work thing. They get high on that success. It doesn't sound like you've done that.
Oh yeah, man. Like the health thing is very important, man. I tell the story, man. I was going balls to the wall with this, and my health got affected. A lot of people don't know this, but I ended up in the hospital, man. I was stressed. My blood pressure was through the roof. I wasn't healthy, and since then, man, I have totally been focused on my health. The visits will be there, but I was laying in the hospital bed, like, what good am I sitting up in this bed? And, those patients and stuff, the enemy about to smile, and nobody knew I was there, but I was there. And that opened my eyes up, man. I was like, wow, if something happens to me, it's over with. And nobody's going to
Mm.
care, really. My family, they're going to care, but, all this stuff on Instagram, nobody's going to care. They're just going to move on to the next person. So you have to really take value in yourself and your health at some point, man. And you want to do it before it gets you, because it can happen to anybody.
Yeah. So you were an associate. You
Yes.
decided to have your own practice.
Hmm.
You built it, and you were doing general dentistry. You found this procedure you liked, and you became passionate about it from a focus standpoint. You took the courses on it, and you started posting cases so that you were attracting other patients for that same procedure. You built a VIP experience in your practice. You were very personality driven in your decisions with the artwork and the culture and the vibe. And you end up doing more and more of these procedures to the point you had all these followers, you're getting online requests, you start doing virtual consultations, you're working your ass off doing all this, building it, and it is taking off. And yeah, you're at a NBA game every now and then, and
Hmm.
you start to meet people and you start doing procedures on bigger celebrity names. And at some point, in this story, you decided that you didn't need to be burnt out by this, that you were in a position where you could enjoy and be passionate and do this wonderful work, so that you now protect your daughters from your work. You protect your health from your work, right? You protect your time from your work. And you don't even care to do the darn, endo or place the implant, or you're like, look, I love what I do and I do it well, and that's all I'm going to do. And after that, I'm going to go home and have a life.
Exactly.
What an amazing story that is. Because a whole lot of other people think they got to put more patients in, not cut them out. They got to add more locations. They got to, they got to do faster, cram in more, learn more treatment, not do less. So you've taken the opposite approach, which is just remarkable. I want to congratulate you on being able to build what you've got. As we kind of finish up on our time here, I'm curious, if you were to, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. If you had a young dentist in front of you who was inspired by what you've done, they don't own a practice yet. They don't know what to do. They're just already burned out in their career. Yeah, they're under a mountain of debt. They're tired. They've been associating here or there. They're not passionate about their day. They're not passionate about their dentistry. They're not passionate about where they work. They don't feel like they're growing. I think I've just described an average associate.
Right.
We've all
been there.
What would you say to them? What are some things you would tell them in that situation if they're asking you, like, what do I need to do? Where do I go?
That is a great question there, Steph. I mean, that's when there's a lot of self-reflection. You have to find out what it is you like, what kind of dentist you want to be. You don't have to be that superhero dentist that can do everything. How do you want your day to look? How many hours do you want to work? How many days do you want to work? And you'll find that it becomes less work and more life, just fun. This is like a hobby now. I just went into the office this morning, knocked out 10 veneers, and here I am talking to you. I'm getting ready to go take my little girls to swim practice. And that's the highlight of my day.
By the way, it's only 1:00 in the afternoon for people listening. I don't know what time it is for you, but for me, it's 1:00 in the afternoon.
It's same here. So, it's 1:00 here. My day is done, clinically. I've got the rest of the day to chill out. So you have to find out what you like to do. For me, I found it was veneers, smile makeovers, and you got to let people know that's what you do. And they'll come, and that's what will help your business. It'll fulfill you personally, spiritually, all of that. That's what I would tell them. I would also tell them to, once they do figure out what they like, find other dentists that are doing that. Become mentees, let them mentor you, listen. Go to conferences like the AACD or whatever aspect of dentistry you like, and be around the people that are really passionate about what they're doing and what you want to do, and you'll see that it is, start to rub off on you. I mean, every time I go to one of these conferences, I just feel a recharge, like, ooh, I'm ready to implement some of this stuff I just learned, and that's what makes it less boring and it's always like a new adventure, basically.
Yeah. So you've got a practice that is in complete alignment with your personality. You do the dentistry that you've learned to love, and you're good at it so that patients seek you out, and you're public about it so that people know. And then you box that practice into this little box so it doesn't eat away at your life.
Absolutely.
And now it feels sometimes like what you do is a hobby. And it's 1:00 and you're going to go to swim practice with your daughter. And that is living the dream. That is living the dream in so many ways. Of course, we're not talking about all the tough moments too, right? There's always hard. There's always hard that's going to come along. But the payoff for you is passion and wealth. So many times the payoff for other people when they do hard is they just got through the day just to wait for another hard day. Like there's no more payoff after that, But the payoff for you is passion and wealth, and you're helping people. And that is just so remarkable. Is there any last thing you want to say to our group before I kind of go through how they can find you and contact you, and then we'll wrap this thing up? Is there any last thing you want to mention?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Follow me on Instagram. My social media handles at Memphis Dentist. That's where you can find me. If you haven't seen me on there, check it out. Shoot me a message. I control all my social media. I don't have a team doing that. So if you DM me, it's actually me. I try to respond to everybody. I love what I'm doing. If you're looking to get your smile done, just give me a shout. If you're a young dentist and you're looking for an opportunity, I am, I've got some big plans for the future. I say what I'm doing now, I would love to teach other dentists how to do what I'm doing. Show them the right way and show them ways to avoid a lot of mistakes. Well, I've made all the mistakes you can make doing this possible. I definitely have. So I could help you with that for sure. Just check it out. Shoot me an email, info@professionalsmileaesthetics.com. And that's pretty cool saying that, because, I've been smiles about Dr. Price this whole time, and now I've kind of evolved. Like, this thing is all about evolving. You can't stay the same forever. So now I've evolved into another chapter of what I'm doing, and I hope people appreciate it the same way they always have been. I really want to, give shout outs to you, man, because this is like a full circle moment for me because, I did your seminar back in the day, and it really helped me out. That breakaway seminar helped me start off as a general dentist, and I still have, I have influenced a lot of your practices into what I'm doing every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you saying that. It's sometimes kind of weird to teach people how to do all these things. And I mean, it's my life's work to figure out, the business side of dentistry. And then I never see them. I don't, did they go build a practice? Did they how are they doing? So I love when I'm able to kind of reconnect with people that have been through and they tell me what's going on. I appreciate you saying good things about it. It's something we've just been super passionate about, making our seminars just as impactful as possible. All right. Well, I want to thank you for being so open, so honest, and just giving to the world of dentistry with this podcast episode. And I also want to just congratulate you on the maturity and the wisdom that you've had to kind of build what you got, whether you ended up there or whether some of it was planned. The decisions you've made now, looking from the outside in, I just have a tremendous amount of respect for what you've done. And I can't imagine people listening to this not having the exact same thoughts as me. So congrats on all of your success. And I can't wait to hear about the big things you got coming. So keep me posted on that. For everyone listening to this, again, find Anthony on Instagram at Memphis Dentist. And go look at what he's doing, following him, look at his posts, and you will start to understand everything we've been talking about on this episode. Learn from him.